Tuesday, May 8th. I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, we teach you all about the old NES game, Rescue the Embassy Mission. Let's do this.
So today I saved a crow, and as a result, I almost missed my train.
Why would you save a crow?
Well, I changed trains between the nice train that takes me up to Croton and then the diesel, ugly, smelly train that takes me the rest of the way. And you know how over the train tracks in most places in downstate New York, there's a lot of those big glassed-in walkways. You go up the stairs, go across the tracks, come down to whatever platform you're supposed to be on.
Yep.
Well, none of the windows up there open, and somehow this big crow had gotten himself up there, and he didn't know how to get out. And he was banging into windows back and forth, and he'd obviously been at this for a while. He was pretty tired, his mouth was hanging open, and he had this look of, what am I doing wrong? I don't get it. Ah. And people were kind of avoiding him, and every now and then someone would walk over like they're going to help him. And then they'd think and realize they couldn't come up with any way to help him short of grabbing him, which probably wasn't the best idea.
Nah, crows are kind of dirty and nasty.
No, they're not really dirty and nasty, not like pigeons.
The pigeons are dirtier and nastier. Doesn't mean crows are not dirty and nasty.
No, they're not. The only reason I didn't grab the crow was that I really didn't feel like getting my hands pecked up. Because I'm pretty sure I could have caught him. He was still pretty dazed. He'd been up there a while.
I realized that, short of, say, hummingbirds and things, you can grab a lot of birds if you really want to, but you gotta really want it for real.
Emily knew someone who not only could grab seagulls, but liked to.
Wow, okay, I don't like to, but I'm pretty sure that I could, and one day when I get some gloves, I'm totally grabbing pigeons. Just to prove it to myself that I can do it.
We'll have to get a video of it, send it to Penn.
Oh, absolutely.
Be like, see what you did? See what you made us do?
Yep.
So, I decide, all right, I can't, I go down to my platform, and then I think, no, I can't leave that crow up there. So I go back up, and I realize that the best way the course of action, after I realize that there's no way to open any of those windows, is to, as best as I can, direct the crow toward the stairway and shoot, which is also glassed all the way down it, and trick him into going all the way down and then flying away.
Mm-hmm.
But if I make any sudden moves or direct him the wrong way, he just flies into a window and hurts himself further. So it was kind of like a puzzle game. And I spend several minutes kind of like maneuvering very slowly and like putting my arms in different ways. And I get him to go down the stairs. And then stair by stair, I kind of push him down. And then eventually he gets outside and he sits there for a minute. And he's like, I don't know. Like he expected there to be another glass wall in his way. And then he flies away really cautiously. And then he shits about 4 times, and then he disappears.
He shat 4 times?
He was like, I don't know, I guess he was stressed out.
Maybe he wasn't shit unless he's flying.
I don't know.
They don't shit when they're standing?
So I saved him, and then I ran to my train, and that was my story for today.
That reminds me of when I was a kid one time, and there was a bird in the yard, and it was there for days, and it was hobbling around. So we tried to figure out who to call to take care of this bird.
Animal control.
We called various animal controls, and eventually we got to someone who didn't tell us to call someone else, and they said, what kind of bird is it? I'm like, I don't know. It's a bird. It's hobbling. They're like, well, what color is it? I'm like, black. They're like, oh, it's a crow. Whatever. We're not doing shit for it.
Nah.
So apparently, Rim cares more about the animal crow than the animal control people do.
Well, you realize that animal control's primary duty is to remove dangerous animals.
Yeah, but there weren't so many dangerous animals for them to remove in my town. There'd be like one a week.
What they usually do is remove like a rabid whatever that's wandering around.
Yeah, we've called them for that before. Skunk during the day, strange badger or raccoon during the day in the backyard.
See, when I was a kid, there was a skunk.
Not badger, but yeah.
There was a skunk in high school who would come out during the day all the time, but he wasn't rabid. He was just old and pissed off.
It's even worse. At least worse for people.
Yep.
So today, there was a pleasant surprise that no one expected, and the people who released the surprise didn't even say anything about it. And it was up to the people on the internet to discover it for themselves. You may know that Google has a program called Google Reader. It is an RSS feed reader. You subscribe to RSS feeds, and it allows you to read all the news in those feeds in a very convenient and easy-to-use interface on a web page.
Sadly, while it is definitely probably the best RSS reader out there, period, I don't find it that useful, but that's just me.
I pretty much read all the news on the internet exclusively through Google Reader, see, the original Google Reader sucked. It was just kind of fancy, but not too useful. And the new Google Reader pretty much beats the shit out of blog lines and all those other things.
I really only use it so I can read headlines from news sites that are blocked at work, so I know what the news is when I get home.
That's pretty good use right there.
Yeah, but that's the only use. I never use it outside of work, ever.
See, I subscribe to like 30-something feeds.
Yeah, I just find if I try to get all the news in my feeds, I either get a lot of duplicates because all the sites
I get a lot
cover-
of duplicates, yeah.
I don't like that. It's not worth it at that point.
Oh, see, I get so many duplicates. I basically scroll down and I process the headlines in my mind very quickly. And when I see something that I actually want to read, I open it in a new tab and I keep going. And if I've seen something before, I just keep going.
See, the thing is, if I just go to dig/.fark right in a row, I see 99% of what I would have seen in Google Reader. And if I need any, real news, I also hit the Google News.
See, I have Google News, Dig, and /dot in my Google Reader. I don't have Fark in there, and it's the same thing. Only it's about taking me less time. That's what it's about. It takes me longer to go and read Dig. It would take if I wake up in the morning, there's like 3 new pages of Digs. I have to read 3 pages worth. I have to do all that scrolling. I can go through everything a lot faster in Google Reader. It takes me less time to process the same information. That's what it's about.
See, I guess I don't go through everything because a lot of it I don't care about.
Yeah, I don't
only
go
look at
through
what-
everything. The stuff I don't care about, I just scroll right past.
That's what the use of Dig is for me. I just only look at what's on the front page. And if it's not on the front page when I go to Dig, it's probably irrelevant.
But see, what if something was awesome, was on the front page when you weren't looking at it for yesterday?
It depends on how awesome it is. One, the videos, there aren't enough videos, period. So I see them all no matter what. And for anything else, if it's that awesome, it's on Fark. And I see everything on Fark.
Yeah, well, regardless, it takes me less time to process all that same news on one page where everything is just a single line as opposed to many pages where things are spread out.
It really doesn't help that the vast majority of RSS feeds are garbage.
Well, that's another advantage of Google Reader is that it handles...
Yes.
It's good enough to handle crappy RSS feeds in ways that other readers do not.
That is definitely true. If only it could handle the dupes on really poorly done RSS feeds.
Yeah. Anyway, so this Google Reader, which this gaming day, so you probably don't care about Google Reader. Google, without saying a word, released a special version of Google Reader that you can use on the Wii.
Hot damn.
So if you got your Wii browser, and, that Wii News channel is pretty good. I kind of like it. But it only reads the AP Newswire. It doesn't read any other news. Well, now you can go to Google Reader in your Wii Opera and do the same sort of thing, only any news you want. You could listen to Geeknights. Well, if you had enough RAM in the Wii, which you don't. But you could read Geeknights' webpage through the Google Reader.
If only they would just set it up to where you could plug a flash drive into the Wii and it would just work as RAM for the browser.
Yeah, but they only did that on the DS. I don't think they're going to do that on the Wii.
If only they'd released the Opera DS cartridge in the US.
Yeah, I think they're on their way to doing it. But
Yeah, they've
they're
been
not
on their
gonna
way for a
release-
while.
They're not going to release the DS Fat version in stores. You're going to have to special order that.
That's fine. I don't have a DS Fat
I know, but
because I'm awesome.
I don't really want the Opera DS browser anyway because I have a laptop.
See, I want it because, one, I don't have a laptop, and even when I get a laptop, there's a difference between, say I'm just walking and I want to check something really quick. Pulling the laptop out, booting it, connecting to the Wi-Fi, versus just, I got my DS out anyway. It's probably in my pocket. I just go, whip, bam, /dot, and then I leave.
And see, I don't really have that need, and I used to have that ability when I had the BlackBerry, whatever, and I never really used that.
I don't know, what I see myself using it a lot for is suddenly hitting a Google Maps while I'm out in the city somewhere.
I had Google Maps on the BlackBerry, and I never really used it.
I don't know, I see myself using it a lot, but part of that's because I go to places that I'm not familiar with all over the
I
Bronx
see
all the
myself
time.
using a little book or a paper map more often, but
Well, see, the little book's great unless you're looking for a business.
yeah. And if I was, looking for something like that, if I really needed this feature suddenly, I just use the one on my phone because
Yeah, well, unless I hack my phone, I have to pay quite a bit of money.
I had to pay like $5. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I do have a new phone, though. I got my Razor.
Oh, great.
It's
Razor.
okay.
It's okay.
It was free.
Yep.
It's better than any cell phone I've ever owned, which
That's true.
I can say about every cell phone I have ever owned.
That is also true.
And in 2 years, I'm going to get a new phone.
Yep, that's true also. Yeah. So, if you want to read some RSS feeds, Google Reader Wii. The cool thing about this is they actually have things bound to the different buttons on your Wiimote, and that's pretty cool how they got a web page to recognize the Wiimote buttons. pushing button 1 does this and button 2 does that, and plus and minus, do this and that. And that's pretty cool that they got a webpage to recognize those things. That's not easy to do for you non-tech people out there.
So, Iwata of Nintendo fame came out, and there's a lot of articles and headlines basically saying something along the lines of, hardcore gamers will be satisfied by the end of 2007 in regards to the Wii. And the article is actually very long. It comes from an interview with Iwata, and I'm not going to go through all the points he makes because he talks about a lot. And if you're a Nintendo fan or a video gamer at all, I highly recommend that you read the transcript because you'll get a lot of insight into the direction Nintendo's heading and also a lot of the ideas that Iwata has personally about gaming. He says that currently there are 45 Wii games in development and another 79 DS titles, though many of them are second party.
Yeah.
I guess all I can really say about the gaming part is that it's about time because the DS, when it started, didn't really have so much for it. It was kind of a waste, and after I played the 3 games I bought, I really didn't use it much.
Yeah, I got the DS, I had like Mario 64, and it was like, after other games came out for the DS, I stopped playing Mario 64. I never went back to it.
See, luckily, I'd never played Mario 64, so that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun because while I had played Mario 64 in the past, I hadn't played it out. So this had played it out for me. And I don't need to play Mario 64 ever again for a long time.
Yep. But the DS finally is coming to its own, and games that fully use it, or at least really respect all the capabilities of the DS, are coming out. And I mean, if you need any indication of how well the DS is going, you still can't buy one in Japan. They're constantly sold out, no matter what. The DS sells crazily. It's amazing. And I can see why. The DS is still, I would say, the best console in the world right now.
Yeah, it's probably, is it the best console ever? It could be.
I don't know. I think in a few more years, I would consider it the best console ever in terms of the use I've gotten out of it.
Unless something else comes along that can unseat it. But as of right now, I think the DS might be the best console ever.
Yeah, but the Wii is still in the same boat that the DS was when it first came out, with one important difference, which I think is hurting the Wii in terms of gamers like us and the so-called hardcore gamer, which is, I really don't like that word because people really use it in a lot of different ways, and the media really throws it around, and it really isn't a useful word anymore, because what constitutes a hardcore gamer? But the DS did really poorly early on in terms of there weren't good games for it, and then the good games came out. The Wii did really well right away because of Wii Sports, and there weren't too many other great games. The Wii is still doing really, really great and selling out because of Wii Sports, which is great for most people, but people like us, I haven't even touched the Wii in months because the best game on it is still WarioWare for the GameCube.
Well, it's not if you're going to do it that way, then the best game for it is probably, I don't know, Pac-Man Verse or something.
Pac-Man Verse.
Or like Four Swords or something like that. But
the DS had some hard-hitting games coming out because, well, I don't know if it was because, but I would assume it was because that was how to sell it. The moment it wasn't selling so well, you got to do something to get people to want a DS. And now everyone wants a DS.
Well, I think the big difference is that when Nintendo was coming with the DS, right? Everyone was super skeptical. They were like, there's no way. What's this third pillar shit?
I was skeptical.
I was skeptical. I was like, at work, I said when I bought the DS, at worst, this is going to be another Virtual Boy. And at best, it'll be awesome. So I can't lose by buying it because at the worst, I own the Virtual Boy, which I wouldn't mind doing. So everyone was skeptical of the DS, so not too many people ran out and bought it right away.
Yeah, we did for no good reason.
Yeah, I did.
We didn't even have a podcast back then. It's not like we were going to review it.
I did for the reason I just said. At worst, it was going to be a Virtual Boy, and I wanted one. So it came out, and there weren't so many good games right away. But I basically bought every game that might have been good for it. I've got a lot of DS games now, and most of them are really good.
But the Wii, I think partly everyone who was skeptical of the DS thought, all right, I learned my lesson, never doubt Nintendo.
Yep.
The Wii's going to be hot shit,
because
oh my god.
By the time the Wii came around, the DS had already proven itself, and people were like, oh, the DS, we were skeptical of that, and it was awesome. And now here's the Wii. Oh, no reason to be skeptical anymore. It's going to be as awesome as the DS.
And I think the Wii is selling solely on the merit of its potential, because it currently doesn't have the merit to justify the sales it has.
The Wii is a pile of unfulfilled potential.
However, if the DS is any indication, that potential will eventually be met.
I imagine it will be met within 12 months.
And I think if
8 to 12 months.
when all these games come out, because these are all the games that I'm personally waiting for. These are games that a lot of people are personally waiting for. They didn't wait to buy a Wii to get these games, which is great for Nintendo because you got your money early. But I think when these games come out in the end of this year, there's going to be a huge surge in Wii playing suddenly.
It's going to be quite insane.
I mean,
And I think
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and until then, the Pokemons and the DS will hold everyone over.
Yeah, good God, the Pokemons.
Yep.
All I have to say about that is I had never played a Pokemon game until this one. And I'm glad I didn't, because if I had played a Pokemon game when I was young and I had infinite free time coupled with zero responsibility and infinite boredom, I'd be fucked now. I would have known everything about Pokemon and I wouldn't have known calculus.
Possibly.
Would have been a bad
It's a good
thing.
thing the Pokemons didn't come out until like I was already in high school and stuff.
But particularly the Smash Brothers Brawl, because the GameCube was, as far as I was concerned, nothing until Smash Brothers came out. And basically, once Smash Brothers came out, the GameCube became a Smash Brothers machine for like 6 months.
Yep.
I mean, we played it every day. Everyone did.
Yep.
And this one's gonna be better. I'm certain of it. I am so looking forward to this game.
Right. Yeah, one last thing about that Miyamoto interview. In that interview, he mentions DEF CON, which I think is pretty cool that Miyamoto knows about DEF CON and respects it.
Actually, Iwata made a really interesting point about Second Life. And he basically said that he has no interest in it. And he kind of gives the impression that he thinks it's dumb and that no one will remember it in a fairly short order. And a lot of people are speculating that this might be him indirectly saying that he thinks MMOs are garbage, which means there's probably never going to be a Pokemon MMO.
Probably.
Which is possibly a good thing for the world. But I really think that as much as I dislike MMOs, just for the bare nature of what they are, I will not deny that a Pokemon MMO would probably make more money than you can possibly imagine.
It would probably be one of the few possible ways to beat World of Warcraft right now would be a Pokemon MMO.
Because I know a lot of people who would play a Pokemon MMO.
Like a giant multi-continent world where everyone walks around catching Pokemon,
The definitive
training
one.
them, and then fighting each other.
Where you upload all the Pokemon you have from all your Pokemon games to the Nintendo server, and your Pokemon are now guaranteed and taken care of forever.
And like you can play this MMO with your DS or your Wii or your PC or your cell phone or whatever. And you can even like buy collectible cards and they'll interact with the MMO. It would be the king of kings. Everything they tried to do with stuff like Hack Sign or that new thing that guy keeps trying to market to us will actually succeed if Pokemon does it.
I mean, even if I didn't have venture capital or anything, I would stake pretty much everything I own, all of my fiscal assets, on the success of a Pokemon MMO.
I would also.
Like, without even a hesitation.
No hesitation.
Things of the day. Right along with the main bit here, my thing of the day is a video that I found when I was looking for some video footage of Rescue the Embassy Mission that contains footage from Rescue the Embassy Mission and Golgo 13 for the NES. And it's basically one of those silly music videos, and they make the characters dance, and it's kind of funny. And that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, Rim found this video, and I was like, oh, it looks like some random YouTube crap. And then we watched it, and it was actually slightly amusing.
I mean, it was pretty dumb at first. And I thought, all right, is this just some guy playing a song he likes while he plays this game? And then, right away, the one guy does this little dance, and then I realized exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I don't think it's the greatest video, but it's great because it beats expectations, which is why it's worth being a thing of the day.
Yes, also, in case you don't want to get a hold of the ROM or actually play this game, you can see exactly what this game is all about.
Yep. All right, so a while ago, I did a thing of the day about, some roguelike games, a type of adventure RPG game that is popular among certain circles of people.
I had a really bad one called Dungeon Hack that I eventually got rid of.
All right, well, today I have for you a list of games that are in the point-and-click adventure genre.
Ooh.
Your space quests, your
Quest for Glory, Police Quest, the Star Quest Star games.
Yeah, the anything involving the word quest, King's Quest, anything Maniac Mansions, all those sorts of games. Monkey Island, yeah. So, if you like those kinds of games, a Deja Vu Shadowgate.
Shadowgate, one of my favorite games ever.
Yep, and it's relevant actually to today.
I open the door. Death! I go right. Death!
All right, so if you like those kind of games, here is a list of 20 point-and-click adventure games that are going to be out this year.
Are any of them on the DS?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I think they're mostly talking about PC ones that you can download.
It's still, to me, one of the greatest crimes is that no one has gotten a license to take all of those Quest for Glory, whatever games, and put them on the DS.
Well, I mean, there are some point-and-click adventures to the DS. I mean, you got your Phoenix Wright, which is sort of like that. You've got your, Lost in Blue type stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but they're really different. They're not the same kind of game.
No, they're not.
And I see no reason not to port them. Those games would definitely fit on a DS cart. They do super well. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah. I don't understand why people, they always concentrate on making, new crap games when there are just already existing, easily ported games that can sell a lot. It's like, why do they just don't, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
Game publishers just aren't thinking.
And yet, we can't get a dev kit and do it ourselves.
Nope. If you like point-and-click adventures, here you go. This is what you have to look forward to in the year to come. Have fun.
So, back when I was a kid, one of the many, many Nintendo games that I owned and or rented was Rescue the Embassy Mission.
Rescue, the Embassy Mission. The game was called just Rescue, but, the subtext was the Embassy Mission.
Yes. Released in 1990 by Kemco.
The same people who did Shadowgate and Deja Vu 2.
Huh, how about that?
Yep.
Now, for some reason, we were reminded of this game recently. I don't even really remember why.
I think it's because I often hum the song.
Do 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 do
Do
do
do
do
do
do
do.
Yeah,
The song gets crazier as you get into a more dangerous situation. When you're in a less dangerous situation, it just goes do 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 do.
There's only one other song that really infiltrates our consciousness like that, and that's the song from do 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 do.
All right.
Do do.
So, because I was humming the song, as I often do, we were reminded of Rescue the Embassy Mission. He said, hey, let's do a random show on an old NES game that you can really only play if you get the ROM or get the cartridge.
It's kind of a unique game, and I'm surprised that no one has ever tried to remake this game on another console.
Yep. All right. This is a game in which you are a team of SWAT guys or SEALs or some sort of military strike force. Think Section 9 Ghost in the Shell type of thing.
Yeah, you're basically just the SWAT team.
Yep.
There's an embassy.
There's an embassy. It's in town. The embassy in town. Who knows what country it's for?
Oh no, is terrorists.
Oh no's terrorists. They have taken over the embassy. They are holding all the ambassadors hostage. You have to rescue the ambassadors.
Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the hostages?
You have to rescue the hostages and kill all the terrorists, and then you win. And you've only got so many minutes to do this because there's a bomb or something? I have no idea.
I think that's just when diplomatic relations break down or they kill the hostages or... it doesn't really matter.
You only have 10, 15... You don't have much time to save these hostages.
The plot is pretty flimsy. Don't even worry about it.
Yes. So, what do you do to rescue these hostages?
Well, see, here's what makes the game really unique. In that, one, for a Nintendo game... It was far more complex than most other Nintendo games of the time.
Yeah,
and
it was,
two,
but it was really short. It was like a really complex, but really condensed.
Basically, they came up with these 4 different games that, in and of themselves, were not a whole game. They wouldn't have been worth buying a cartridge for, but they were really fun. At least most of them were kind of fun. One of them was super fun.
One of them is stupid.
Yeah, one of them is pretty stupid, but it was also awesome because of how I learned how to do it.
Yes.
But they combine them all together, and the game basically goes through 4 phases. And each phase is basically a separate game, but each one is contingent on the previous one in some way.
Yep, the phases actually affect each other, and it feels like you're controlling this entire team, executing every part of an actual mission to actually rescue ambassadors.
Now, there have been games that have done the FPS part of this game that have been very similar. I mean, Counter-Strike even is a lot like this in some ways.
Yep, but Counter-Strike doesn't have the first 3 parts that are nothing like the part that is like Counter-Strike.
Yeah, now, I'm not going to pretend that the whole game is great, because the last part kind of sucks.
Yep.
The third part
Really sucks.
is awesome because it's hilarious, but it's not good.
No. The first part is awesome, and the second part is okay.
I would love for someone to make a game that was just the first part and was really long.
Yeah, I would also love that. It would also be fucking impossible.
So basically, you control the 4 phases of the game, and the first phase is you've got 3 snipers. Jumbo, Chemco.
I think it's Jumbo, Mike, and someone else.
Yeah, right. Chemco is in the second half. Doesn't
Yep.
matter. So you've got these guys, these 3.
And they have to get in position to snipe. They're just standing around, you know, like by the squad car or whatever they're near. And they need to get into sniping position on the 3 sides of the building that face the street.
Yeah, the game actually gives you this fun interface where it shows like the blueprints of the building and the area around it.
Yeah, you have basically it's a street that's in the shape of a U, and the embassy is in the middle of the U, so it's surrounded on 3 sides by street and 1 side by other buildings. So you have to get a sniper basically into a hiding position on each of the 3 sides of the embassy that are facing the street, so that you can shoot into the embassy to kill terrorists.
Yep, but it gives you this fun interface where it shows you, the blueprint and everything. And it doesn't really matter. You don't really have control. But you pick like, all right, I'm going to send the 3 snipers out. All right, now I'm going to send Chemco to rappel down the thing.
Yep.
I'm going to snipe with Jumbo. I'm going to do this and this and this. And it's kind of like you're the commander of this SWAT team operation.
Yep. So in this first part where you get the snipers in position,
Which is pretty much the whole game.
it's pretty much the whole game, is really cool because it's a side-scrolling stealth game. Sort of like a Metal Gear, not really.
Yeah, you've got your dude, and there's searchlights from the terrorist in the embassy. And they're going around.
And if the searchlights see your sniper walking down the street, they're going to shoot him and kill him, and there's nothing he could do about it.
Well, they might not kill him. The thing is, if you get spotted by the searchlights, they open fire. And depending on what you're doing or who it is shooting, the odds of getting hit are pretty high, but they're not 100%.
It's not 100%, but you're usually going to get killed. The idea is to avoid the searchlights, and then you win.
So you've got to slowly make your way down the street to get to a building where you can then have a sniper position without getting shot.
Yep. So you walk from left to right. But, so is that interesting? You just walk from left to right, avoiding lights. That's just a timing of walking. No. There's more interesting things to it.
You see, despite the fact that it's an NES game, and the biggest problem with a lot of early NES games was if you wanted to do anything complicated, there were only 2 buttons and the D-pad.
Yep.
And start and select you really couldn't use for gameplay stuff. Very few games use those buttons for gameplay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So games had to do stupid tricks like, all right, hit A or B to do 2 different things, and hit A and B at the same time to do something else, or hold up and B or up or whatever. And it usually was very clunky and difficult to use. But in this game, the control scheme is fairly elegant, and yet you have a lot of options. You can walk, you can dive, you can jump behind things, you can roll, you can duck down and crawl.
Yeah, you can get in a prone position and shimmy along the ground in 2 different directions. I think the reason that this was actually able to do this is because there's no shooting. You have both buttons used only for movement maneuvers, and there's nothing to shoot. You're just trying to dodge. So one button is roll, and one button is jump behind stuff. Well, up is jump behind stuff, right? And
Yep.
You can do all sorts of things. You can up and duck, do different things, and
And I gotta say, as a kid playing this game, my nerves were shot anytime I played, because this game, nowadays, I don't care, like whatever. But when I was a kid, it's kind of like how Castlevania 2 was really creepy to me. Playing this game and trying to avoid those searchlights, you get really freaking nervous because you see, all right, the next place I can hide, because you can always, if you can get into a little building or behind a bush or something, you're safe. But there's not always something to jump behind. So it'd be like, you go, safe. And you can sit there as long as you want. The timer keeps ticking down, but you have like 15 minutes. But 15 minutes.
Keep it 15 minutes for the whole game. The more time you waste, putting snipers in position is less time for sniping. Let's say you get all the snipers in position, and then you do all your sniping, and then you get in the building, and you've got a minute left. Now you've got a minute to kill all the remaining terrorists and rescue the hostages. Guess what? It's not going to happen because you took too long.
Yep. So there was always, I'd get safe, and then I'd sit there, and it took such a mental effort to force myself to pull the character out of the safe spot and run past the next gauntlet of searchlights.
Yep. So you try to get these 3 snipers in position. Getting the first one in position is pretty easy. Getting the second one in position is sort of easy. Getting the third one in position is really hard because he has to go really far and he has to go into a lot of tricky situations.
Until I watched a video of the completion of this game in an optimal manner, I had never seen the end of the sniper guy path.
Yep.
I had never gotten Jumbo to the end.
Yep.
Jumbo had never survived.
Now, keep in mind that this game has many, many different difficulty selections. You can set this game anywhere from stupidly easy to impossibly ludicrously hard. And the game changes drastically depending on which setting you choose. And there's a lot of in-between settings. So you can work your way up slowly to actually beating the impossibly hard mode.
Yeah.
But even on the impossibly easy mode, I never got Jumbo over there. That's how tricky this game is.
Now, what always bothered me was that why didn't they just take the back door to whatever building they're going to snipe?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess there's only one street in the world.
The game wouldn't be fun because the most fun part of the game wouldn't happen.
Yep.
So,
now, the really cool thing, too, is that there aren't lives or anything. You just have 3 snipers, 3 guys who bust into the building.
And that's it.
And if a sniper dies, he's dead. That's it. Use the next sniper.
Yep.
And you don't have to get all 3 snipers.
You don't have to get
position.
any of the snipers in
No,
position.
you have to get at least one.
You have to get at least one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to get at least one.
Well, if let's say you only get 2 snipers in position. Well, let's say I get the one for the left side of the building and the one for the north side of the building. I'm just not going to be able to snipe on the east side of the building.
Yeah, there might be terrorists over there, and I can't kill them this way. Now I got to kill them the hard way.
Actually, I think it's technically northwest and south, but you get my point.
Yeah.
If I get 2 snipers in position, I can snipe 2 sides of the building, and the third side of the building goes unsniped.
Now, while it's fairly primitive, it still does something that so few games do, partly because it's hard to do, and partly because it's not worth the effort to do, because most people wouldn't care. But I love the idea of a game where succeeding at the mission, you continue. Failing at the mission does not end the game. The game continues with the ramifications of having failed that mission. Imagine a game like Advance Wars, where if you lose a battle to, say, take a port, now the war continues, but you don't have that port.
Yep.
No games really do that, but this game kind of does in a really primitive way, where if only one sniper made it, you've only got one fucking sniper now.
Yep, but at least if those other snipers die really quickly, then you'll still have a lot of time.
I would usually just kill Jumbo, because it wasn't worth just spending all that time only to die.
Yeah, because remember, the whole game only takes like 15 minutes and then you're done. I think actually in the harder modes, you have less time to do the whole game.
Now, the best part, and I want to point this out, on the screen where you pick guys, whenever it shows a guy, one of the snipers, it's like the blueprint map, right? The guy's little avatar is like popping up and down, bursting through the paper, and it's really, really funny.
It is pretty funny.
He's like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Yep. So, you get the snipers in position. Now what? Obviously, you snipe.
Sniping is frustrating and frustrating. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's really not that bad because a lot of other games like Go 13 tried to do sniping on the NES, and it was ass.
Basically, all you do is you have this circle, and you move this circle. You can look at one side of the building depending on which sniper you're using, you know? So, and you can switch between all the snipers at will. So if you have all 3 snipers in position, you can say, I want to snipe with that sniper now. Forget that. I want to snipe with this sniper now. And you can just snipe to your heart's content. But every second you spend sniping is a second you're spending not beating the game.
Yep. And I'd always have this debate where how long was I going to sit there waiting for someone to walk by a window and blow him away?
Yep. So when you snipe, basically you look at one side of the building, depending on which sniper you're using.
And you can look at any window, and there's like 9 windows.
And all you do is you have this targeting reticle, and you move it around, and there's 9 windows in each side of the building, or 12?
I don't remember. I think it's 9.
I think it's 9. And you look in the windows, and if you shoot a window, it breaks. And if you see a shadow in the window, you shoot it. And if you shoot and successfully hit that guy in the window, he dies.
And they simulate, it's difficult to snipe, but the cursor kind of moves around a lot. Really annoying, but it's not super annoying.
Yeah, it's not like those games where it just flies around the screen and you can't control it, but the targeting reticle will move a little bit on its own, and sometimes you'll miss the guy you're trying to shoot because of it.
Now, the thing I really liked was that the terrorists walk around dynamically. And they could come anywhere, it's kind of random. The thing that was hilarious was sometimes you see a guy like peek out a window and walk away, and then he comes back, and you shoot, and say you miss, and you've shattered the window now. He'll probably just come back and look out the window again.
Yeah, the movement of the guys in the building is sort of random.
The terrorists are stupid. You can shoot 4 guys in a window, and there's obviously a pile of 4 dead bodies behind that window, and a 5th terrorist will walk over, I wonder what happened here, and just poke his head out the window.
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen, sometimes it won't. It's kind of random. Generally, what I do is to each sniper that I have available, I'll snipe for, I'll check out each window for like maybe 10 seconds each, something like that, 5 seconds each, just to make sure. Then after I've checked all the windows, I'll scan them all once more really quickly to make sure there isn't an easy kill. Then I'll go to the next sniper, because sniping, all it really does is make the final part of the game easier for you, because there'll be less guys. Every guy you kill sniping is a guy you don't have to kill walking around inside the building with your assault rifle.
Now, the third part of the game. Now,
The bad part of the game.
I think it's cool, but I want to present...
It's cool, but it sucks.
The third part of the game from the eyes of a kid, Little Rim.
All right.
Who got this game from Blockbuster. He rented it. Or it might have been Mammoth Video. I don't even remember.
I don't remember where I
ago.
played this, but I played it, and I remember seeing it in a video game magazine, but I definitely did not own it.
So I got this game.
And I
Never
played it
played
on
it
ROMs
before.
many times.
Didn't have an instruction book. And I get to this part of the game where I pick one of my guys and I say, all right, go in. And I pick which side of the building and which row of windows I want.
Yep, because that's what you do. You have a guy on the roof, and he needs to get in the building. So he's going to rappel down the side of the building and crash through one of the windows.
So it shows me my guy hanging just over the roof, like just on the side of the building.
Holding
from
onto
a
a
rope,
rope.
like he's going to rappel. All right. And it doesn't say what to do. So I hit A, and my guy swings out and swings back in.
He basically kicks off the side of the building.
And then lands back
and
on
then
the exact same
swings
spot.
back, and he's leaning against the building again.
On the exact same spot.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, that's what that button does. So then I hit down, and he moves down a few inches, and then falls to his death.
Yeah, he just lets go of the rope and dies.
Shit. So I take my second guy, and I hit down, and he falls to his death. Third guy falls to his death. Game over.
It's really annoying, because all you should have to do with this part of the game is hold down to move down to the part of the the window you
'cause
want to...
That's not how repelling works.
I know, but that's how it should work in the video game.
No, because in the video game, it's kind of cool. I think in this part, it suffers from being too simple. They could have made it more complex and cool.
I think it's just the part of it is not obvious, and it's too finicky. It's not like an exact precise
Basically,
control.
you have to kind of rock down, up, down, up, down, up, and slowly work your way down.
Yeah,
you can pick which window. You can go in the third floor, or the second floor. What I learned as a kid is that you cannot make it to the first floor. The rope's not long enough, and it just breaks.
Yep. So basically, you push down, and before you fall to your death, you push up, and your guy will lean against
And
the
as a
building
kid,
again.
once I figured it out, I was so nervous, and every millisecond that he was going down, I was afraid it was going to break. And I'd be like, dun-up, 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 dun-up. Now here's where the sniping really came into play. Let's say you take a guy, and you bring him down a little bit, and you get to the window. Oh shit, there's a terrorist in the window. You can't break the window. The terrorist is right there.
Yep.
Shit. Now you got to go back out, go to the sniper, have the sniper take the terrorist out, if he's still there. The cool thing is, if you do that, your guy is hanging there above the window waiting. You can't shoot your guy, though. I tried.
Yep, so eventually you find a window you want to break into. So you push that A button again to swing away from the building. You swing in, you kick the window shatters, even if it was already shattered by snipers before, and you're in the building.
And now suddenly the music's rocking. You got to kill all the terrorists, not kill the hostages. It's an FPS with a map on the side. It's basically Shadowgate, only quick.
Yeah, all you do is you push forward to go forward, left to turn 90 degrees left, right to turn 90 degrees right, back to go back one screen, and A to shoot. And that's all you do.
Yeah, but you got to aim the gun, too. So if you'll hear like, put, 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 put. And that means there's a terrorist in the room with you. And you turn around frantically, and you see a guy in green, and maybe he dodges to the right or dodges to the left, or maybe he starts shooting at you.
Yeah, if there's a terrorist to the right of you, you don't see him, but you might hear him or know he's there.
And if you don't turn around and shoot him quick enough, you're dead.
Yeah, and you basically can it's not like an FPS with a smooth, viewing. You can just kind of move and look around. It's you only have a view of, straight ahead, and if he's to the right, he might as well be who knows where.
And those terrorists are fucking dangerous, let me tell you, especially in the hard difficulty.
Yeah, at least it lets you turn around very quickly. So you can, you basically you take a step forward, you spin around in a circle, take a step forward, spin around in a circle. Now, on the easy mode of this game, there's a map. And the map has little dots on it that tell you where the terrorists are at all times and where the hostages are at all times. And you can basically beat the game without even looking at the actual shooting screen and just looking at the map.
Yep, but in the harder difficulties, the map will show terrorists, but it won't show all of the terrorists.
Or it won't show the hostages, or it won't show any terrorists or hostages.
And two,
or it won't show anything.
The harder the difficulty, the more tricky the terrorists are, and you got to aim your gun more to actually get them.
Yep. And it just it gets harder and harder and harder, but it's really not that hard. And
well,
all
the
you
worst
have to
thing
do-
is, you always have an itchy trigger finger, and I pretty much shot any hostage I saw.
Yeah, shooting hostages sucks. Basically, a hostage is a guy in a blue suit as opposed to a guy in military camo who has a gun. And you'll often turn around, see a hostage and shoot every time and kill all the hostages, and that's not good. You can't do that. That loses you points. So you just keep doing this until you kill all the terrorists and save as many hostages as you can, and then the game is over, you win. Depending on how well you do, how much time is left, how many hostages you save, how quickly you kill the terrorists, how many of your guys died, you get a better ending, and then you can try again.
Now, this is one of those games that for when it came out, I think it was a pretty good game.
It was freaking awesome when it
because
came
in the
out.
very least, it's a game that tried to do something new, unique, and different with the NES, and it did it pretty well, all things considered.
And I don't know any games that have really tried this since.
I really wish a game would.
Yeah. I mean, even like in FPSs these days, which could easily replicate this sort of thing, where everyone fulfills a different role in a multiplayer FPS, and one guy, has to snipe that side of the building, and another guy has to snipe another side of the building, and some guy controls the spotlight in a machine gun on the building, and some other guy has to rappel down and then go into the building, and some other guys are the terrorists in the building, and that could be pretty cool. You could totally do that with Counter-Strike.
I always think, because I used to make Doom levels and stuff, and I messed with Doom, and pretty much once games got 3D, I didn't have the time to deal with making maps and frickin' Quake or Counter-Strike or any of that.
It's just too hard and sucky to do that.
Yeah, but gives me an idea. You could make a scenario in Counter-Strike that was very much like this game, where you position individual players on the counter-terrorists, like some of them were snipers. They started in buildings with sniper rifles, and terrorists and hostages. You could do something pretty similar.
That's the thing, though, is that FPSs tend to not have assigned roles. They tend to go with, you can choose your role. Like Team Fortress, you choose which class you want to be. You want to be the medic? Sure. You want to be a scout? Sure.
Yep.
Granted, this would require the assignment of roles, which is something people don't like, or something FPSs don't seem to ever do, really.
I don't know. I mean, natural selection never really did it in the game does it way, but it definitely did it in the players have to organize and the commander has to assign roles on his own. Like, you guys defend this, you guys do this, you're the healing man, you're the ninja, that sort of thing.
Unless the other players on the other team don't do it, then no one has to.
Yeah, I don't know, I like stuff like that, and I wish more games did it.
Yep. So, for anyone who isn't cool and old school and doesn't remember Rescue the Embassy mission for the NES, now you do.
Play it at least once. The first part of the game is really fun, and it's worth it to get good at that part of the game. Kind of like getting good at Bionic Commando. You'll feel good when you get Jumbo to the end without dying.
Yeah, Rescue the Embassy mission is a game worth playing, definitely. I don't know if it's a game worth beating on the hardest mode.
No, fuck it. It's not a great game. It's a great game in terms of the potential and in terms of when it came out. It's not a great game nowadays, but I think someone could take what it was on, say, the Wii and make it a fucking awesome game.
It's definitely a significant game that everyone should know about and pay attention to.
Now, I think in the future, we're going to have to do a review of fucking Shadowgate.
I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far in Shadowgate without just reading the guide.
I beat
I got
Shadowgate.
like maybe a quarter of the way through.
I beat Shadowgate on my own as a kid through trial and error over the course of like 9 months.
I beat Deja Vu with trial and error.
Fucking Deja Vu. That game was awesome. And by awesome, I mean it was really hard.
I've got Deja Vu 1 and 2 for the Game Boy
Ooh,
Color.
I never played 2.
I need either. I have it for the Game Boy Color. I never played it.
Basically, Shadowgate was no matter what you do, death.
And
Deja Vu, same game.
Yep. Oh well. Yay, Kemco.
I think my favorite death was when you get suddenly and randomly dissolved by acid.
Yeah, some of those ones that were random were the funniest, but I also like the Dragon Barbecue one where you go into a room, it gets hotter, you can take a treasure. It gets hotter, you take a treasure.
Well, no, what it was is you go into the room, right? And there's a bunch of treasures laying there and a dragon on the other end. One of the treasures is a shield.
Yep.
If you don't pick up the shield, the dragon just fucking kills you.
Yep.
If you pick up the shield, you block the fire, but the shield gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And eventually, if you stay in that room, the shield just melts and then you die.
But it allows you the chance to pick up a few of the other treasures. You have to know which ones you need and which ones you don't.
Yep. The best part was, at one point, you find a scantily clad woman chained up in a room. And all this game taught you about scantily clad women chained up in rooms is that the only thing you should ever do with a scantily clad woman chained up in a room is stab her through the heart with an arrow, because any other course of action leads to your death.
Yep.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.